We're live. Check my phone. Okay, let's see. It says we're live. Let me just make sure. Yes. Hi. Yes, we have hopped on. It connected. So let me just see if there's sound. Hi. Yes, we have sound. Okay, now I know it's Sunday and you might be out having, it's the middle, we're really into the middle of summer here in the United States and in Europe. So people are out. I know in Portland, Oregon, last week was winter. This week we're in a heat wave. So it's crazy here. And I have a different background because, as many of you know, I'm selling my house and they decided to do an open house today. So we had to move here to set up the internet here at the place we're moving into. And you might hear my husband come in and the dog bark, but then, we'll settle down. Anyway, I want to introduce, I'm so excited for this because 2 weeks ago, I messaged Leman and I said, would you be interested getting on this live after I do this workshop and sharing your experience working with me over the past in the program that she was in? And she said, yes, yes. So I'm happy to introduce Leman Balses. Is that how I pronounce it?
Balses.
Balses, and she's from Cyprus. And yes, you can have clients internationally. So she's one of my international clients. And we, it worked out. We worked out the time zone change. And I want Leman to kind of, why don't you start with, before you met me, where were you in your business? Because you actually had a business locally. You were seeing clients, and talk a little bit about that. And then what made you kind of get online and start following me?
So basically, I started my business in 2011. Then I decided to close my local office and start working online. And it's been 5 years now that I've been working online. But that struggle, that whole thing was like a real tough journey where I didn't know where I was, who to connect with, who my niche was, where to find them. And I was that kind of person that probably many of you are, where you were totally confused. You thought, well, who would want to buy from me? You were in that situation that you weren't confident with yourself and you didn't know how to present your offers or how to start coaching on social media. So I started to do the inner work with myself. And as a spiritual life coach, I started to connect with my inner self and trying to find my core problems and issues where I was in a situation of having limited beliefs and being in scarcity. And after I actually started to connect with myself, I found out that I didn't even believe that I had these things. I've been coaching, for over 10 years. But it was a thing where social media is something totally different than having a local office where all the locals know you. And I was making side money, like on the side, pocket money, just to go through the month, maybe here and there paying a few bills. And then I started to, when I brought up that my clients were actually coaches and therapists, just like myself, I started to connect with them and started to make more money because I was truly connected with who I was drawn to work with. So when I found my niche and I started to put it out there, I started to make 5K with connecting with people, and helping them on the journey that I went through, what I learned and what I implemented, becoming a coach on social media. And before I met Dallas, it was a journey where I invested in a lot of coaches. I'd done a lot of research and all these kind of things, but I wasn't sure of, how to do it, because it all sounds so confusing. And it was like no one understood what my language was. No one understood what I was trying to put out there, and was just giving me these strategies, and you have to do that and do this, but it wasn't clear. It was like everyone was saying the same thing, but it wasn't clicking. And I started following Dallas. I probably followed Dallas for a whole year until I actually got into her program, where I was going into her workshops and going into her lives every day. And I still am today as well, still following her. And it was like Dallas knew exactly what I wanted. It was she knew that it was like she found the missing puzzle, that what I needed, and presented me the solution so easily and effortlessly. It was like step-by-step process where she got me down to getting the results that I wanted. And before, working with other coaches was like, they didn't know exactly what I wanted. They were just giving it to me, rushing it through into my face, saying, here you go. But with Dallas, it was so simple, and she was so kind, and she was so patient with me, step by step, taking me through that process, where now I've come to a state where I'm making 10K. And it's possible, right? It's really possible when you really put yourself out there and put yourself into committing to do the work. Then Dallas will show you those steps so that you can start to reach out to what I call soul clients, which is ideal clients, where you actually connect with your soul clients that are, ready to work with you, because it all comes down to putting yourself out there with the right strategy and being committed to do the work behind all of this. And Dallas has brought me to that position where I'm not confused anymore. I do it automatically, daily, and signing up with amazing clients every day, where I'm progressing every day. And it's a journey that doesn't stop, but it's a journey that you have to really be committed to do to be a successful online entrepreneur.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. That's just it. I mean, by the time people, all of you out there have probably worked with other coaches, perhaps have taken many courses, read books, gone to seminars, done all the free workshops and challenges. And so you hear concepts now over and over and over again, like same concepts, but you don't need more strategy to learn different things. Now you got to take those concepts and we got to bring them down into action taking steps. Action. How do you build your infrastructure? How do you get visible, right? How do you generate leads every day? And that's kind of what you were missing, Leman, right? Was like, what do I have to do today? Right.
Right.
And you started to see the momentum start to go, right? The group started to fill up more and more people of those coaches and consultants that you serve best, and your messaging improved, right? We worked a bunch on your message.
Yeah. We worked a bunch of messages. I didn't know how to put it out there. I didn't know how to put my message out there so that I could connect with those soul clients of mine that knew what I was doing, because I'm not just an ordinary business coach. And that was what I was trying to tell the other coaches that I actually were working with. I'm a holistic business coach, and what I do is very unique. I mean, there are other holistic business coaches out there. But like I say, you know, it's not just a strategy. It's not just putting the content. It's really tapping into yourself. And that was what I was missing.
Right. And you have a ton of processes that you take people through. It's your methodology, right? And we talk about that. You've got to share. What you were lacking was, how do I share my method? Right?
Yeah.
How do I show my method that's different from everybody else? And once I heard her method, we were able to package it in such a way that people could either step into it because that's what they wanted, which is completely different what other people are providing, or move on. But it's really how to present your method. Yeah.
Absolutely. It was. It was actually that, because I had it all set up. I knew what I wanted, but it was, like you say, there was a missing puzzle in how do I do it?
Right.
And you took me through that process step by step and brought that message out. And now today, you remember that I couldn't even write messages. I mean, like, I couldn't even write content. Now today, I'm thinking just one topic. I'm like, boom, here I go. And I'm just writing it all through, connecting. I mean, you see my messages every day, you know, in the group and everything, and on Facebook. And it's like,
it's pouring out of you now. It's just like pouring out of you.
Yeah. Where was she? Look at her now. I mean, it's like, I can't even believe myself, like what I've gone through with you, you know, and then put myself into that position of like, now I know what to say. Now I know how to connect, and I'm getting more engagement as well. I'm connecting with more people, you know, effortlessly. And even, you know, they say, well, you know, how do you get people to engage in your groups? And I know that you were talking about that the other day. And it's the message and the content that will draw people in, you know, presenting it out there daily, showing up with the same thing. And you remember you saying to me, you have to say the same thing practically every day, but in different words. And yeah, that's it. You know, you just have to say the different thing in different words and keep continuing, because success comes when you start to take action.
Right.
And
Right. And it's just like, you know, we're all new to, how do you market yourself? How do you present your business on the internet? We're all new to it. It's like, you know, if you were going to open up a storefront, you know, you don't know how to lay out a store. You don't know how to merchandise it. You don't know what the hours of operations are going to be. You don't know how to greet, and, you know, that's all new. So it's like, this is all new too. And we think we know. How hard can it be? I'm on Facebook all the time with my friends and family. How hard could it be to present myself? Well, there is a particular way to move people from someone that is a stranger to you, warming them up so that they're interested in you, and then finally saying, yes, I want to work with you, right? And as we, you know, talk about in workshops, many people get stuck along the way, and some will never be your clients, but it's okay. But what are the activities that I need to do so that I have fresh eyeballs on my material every day, that I have content going out that's great and that people respond to? And we talked about it, you know, the engagement all over the internet is down, but people are lurking. You know, we can fill our workshops, we can fill our masterclass. People still have problems that need solving, right?
Absolutely.
And I think, I mean, for you, wasn't you, what was the feelings that you were having kind of before you met me? And what are you feeling now about what you've accomplished?
Before I, met you, as the whole period of time, or when we started working together?
Well, right before working with me, like, you know, what was the feeling? Because you couldn't pull it together. What were you feeling?
It was like, I was totally confused because I knew how valuable my services were. I knew that it could change so many people's lives and businesses. But it was the sort of like confusion that I was going through where I felt truly lost. It was like, how do I get people, because when I went through other coaching programs, it was like they were just giving me the strategies and all the things that I already know, stop giving me all that.
They weren't giving you like, okay, now you need to do this today, right?
Yeah, right. But I've done that, I've already done that. I know what to do. I know how to do it. Get down to the actual core issue of what my problem is. And it was that position where I was like, I'm going to give up, like literally, and, just go with the flow. If I get clients, I get them. If I don't, I don't. And then when I met you, and I like literally followed you for a whole year. And I thought, well, she exactly knows, how to put it out there authentically and uniquely, because that's what I was looking for. Because we all have different, we're all coaches, we're all therapists. There's other coaches in our industry. But the most important thing, and that was what I was teaching my clients as well, was to present yourself in your own unique way. And when you started to say that, present yourself in your unique way with your content, with your message, with your brand, I thought, yes, she is talking my language. And
with guidelines of how to do that.
With
right?
guidelines.
So,
yes.
So basically, everyone know that Leman had a structure. She had a framework of which to work from, of which we put her content and her program into words that were presented in a particular way that she could use over and over and over again, that people could read and she could talk about in a particular way. But she didn't know how to express it out.
Yeah. And when I started working with her, you gave me that step-by-step process where how I'm going to do it, how I'm going to literally put my program of how I work so I could communicate.
How are you going to market it? Yep.
How I'm going to market it. It started hatching, like, the egg started hatching. It was like, whoa,
it works.
It works. This is great. And I've worked with other coaches. I've done lots of courses. I've done lots of things before I got to Dallas. But Dallas knew exactly when the moment we started talking in our first session, she knew exactly what was wrong with my business. And that is so important. And I highly recommend that you actually connect with Dallas, in a call and talk to her, because she's going to get you into those questions and that's so important, questions. When you ask your client questions, you know exactly where they are. And Dallas was asking those questions, but she knew exactly what's the missing puzzle. Okay, yes, I was in business before Dallas. I was on social media. I was present. I had a strategy. I had a business. I was making 5K, but I wasn't making 10. But when I actually started working with her, I started making 10K constantly. And it's become so easy where I don't need to start looking for my clients anymore. Like, they are following me and they're connecting with me and they're like asking me things, and it's like, wow.
My husband just came in, so the dog's barking, but that'll quiet down. So what I want to ask, so how do you feel now about your business and about serving other people? Like, now that you have all your have everything you need in your toolbox to market and sell effectively online using Facebook and email, right? Email too. How do you feel about this?
I feel much more confident with my marketing. I feel that, you know, I'm reaching out to my soul clients, ideal clients every day, where it's just become so simple.
Now, are you like on, you know, doing all this work, you know, half, majority of your day is doing marketing, or do you have a system in place now?
I have actually, where you teach how to have a little system in place, a weekly plan where that weekly plan is like Mondays would be an inspiration post, Tuesdays tips, Wednesdays talk about my business. I also do Wednesday lives. Sometimes I do them on Thursday. So Wednesdays and Thursdays would be more about my services, my products. And then I do Thursdays would be a little bit more about what my service is all about. So connecting with your soul clients. Why is it so important? You know, giving them more value. And then Fridays would be fun day with something, you know, like a post or something.
So that's your content, right?
Yes.
But you have many systems underneath that are kind of
Yes.
operating behind the scenes that we set up, right?
Yep.
That you in the beginning spent a bunch of time setting up, but now they kind of run by themselves, right?
Yeah, they just run by themselves. They just automatically run by themselves. And it's not like, what should I post today? Or what should I say? It's like, I've got it. Just write it in. Or when you said to me, well, even if you can't find anything that day and you're in one of those days, just go onto Google and find a quote or something, you know? And yes, right? And even like, you know, go through your Google things, like find something, you know, valuable in some of the things that you do. Ask questions and constantly doing the same thing. But we're constantly saying the same thing. We're constantly really putting it out there. But people don't, you know, when you
it's the repetition,
exactly.
right?
And
right.
people don't
and
realize that you're saying the same thing, but you are.
Right. And now you're doing workshops. You actually are doing master classes that upsell people into your programs. And how was that setting that up? Doing a master class and putting in all the messaging that goes with keeping people engaged with you. You've got a system in place now, right?
Yeah. Well, my first master class was like, what I do, what I say, how I do it, put it there. I was like everywhere. Do you remember? And then like the second one and the third one was like, just go out there and do it. It's all there, you know, it's set up. And I don't even know I don't need to worry. Even if I'm going to do another subject on another masterclass, right, with another subject, I've got it there. I've got the tools there. I've got the strategy there. I know what to say. I know how to put it into place because I have it all there with the tools that you provided for me in such a simple way that, you know, it's like it's there already. So, you know, it's not like Dallas is still with me and she probably will be with me for the rest of my life, right? You know, it's still there. I mean, I just need to put myself out there and present it. Simple.
Right. So what she's talking about is that, you know, and you guys all heard when you sign up with me and you go through the program, there are tons of scripts already available to you. There are email templates ready and available for you. And all you need to do is get in there and tweak them for your own workshop, your own masterclass, basically masterclass. you know, to make it easier for you. And as you grow, I mean, Leman now, she's been with me for over a year, you know, she's free now. She, like she just said, she just uses what I gave her and she can evolve with it and create her own messaging and her own voice, but she knows the structure. She knows what needs to go inside an email, you know, or how many emails need to go out around a masterclass, right? Or how many emails need to go out during the masterclass or after the masterclass. I mean, that's what it's all about, is constantly putting yourself out there in all kinds of different ways. So I want you to take the opportunity now. Tell us about your program, because maybe there's somebody on here listening that is intrigued by it and wants to learn more. So why don't you spend a moment sharing with us what your program is all about?
So I'm a spiritual life coach and a past life regression therapist and a holistic business coach. I work with coaches and therapists to scale and grow, reaching profitable growth in their business, connecting with their higher self, and putting their authentic, unique method into process, removing their blockages from their subconscious mind, getting them out of scarcity so that they can start to reach their soul clients and start to see through their business. Now, I know many of you were probably saying, like, I've tried all this, right? But my actual holistic business coaching programs are unique in a way where we, first of all, we find why you haven't succeeded in other coaches' programs, business coaching programs, where we bring out that negative blockage and we release it so that you can start to be more confident with yourself and so that you can present your message with your authentic gifts. Because no matter how you became a coach or who you are today, there is a structure behind your business. And what we do is we actually work on finding your soul connection, finding your life purpose, your mission, so that you can start to bring out your message to communicate with your soul clients on that soul level. And that you can start to bring out your message so that you can start making that impact and reaching professional growth in your business. And I do have a 6 months coaching program, and I have launched a 12 months coaching program as well. I also have a 28 days coaching program. If you'd like to hear more about them, I'd love for you to connect with me, and I can tell you a little bit more about that, because I'd be going on for about an hour or more if I was to talk about them all. But I can say that if nothing's working for you, then you have to look in the inside. And that's what we do. We look in the inside, find why it's not working for you, remove it, and I take you step-by-step process of presenting your business with your authentic gifts so that you can start feeling and connecting with your soul clients.
Yeah, terrific, terrific. So if you want, you know, we will, let's put your information, how they can get a hold of you below, perhaps your Facebook Messenger link or something like that. Do you want to do that?
I can also put down my link in the
comments
as well. 45 minutes complimentary session with me. So we can talk through and I can give you some value on what problem issues that you are having. And then if we're a great fit to work together, then I'll tell you a lot more about my programs and how I can help you to start thieving in your business.
Great, great, perfect. So let's go ahead and drop that when we get off here. Go ahead and drop that into the comments below. There may be someone that can, you know, it's all about who are you connecting with, right? Do you connect with Leman or are you connecting with me, right? Like who, where, and what is it that you need right now, right? So if you went through my workshop, you see that I'm kind of matter of fact. And I put a very much a systematic processes in place to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And it's a 9-month program. It's a group coaching program. We're going to start next week. You can definitely, people are getting on calls with me already. If you want to have a conversation with that, I too will drop up above in the description box my Calendly link, and we can hop on a call to see where you're at and where you want to go. And is this the right program for you at this time? Okay, because for some people, I advise them not to because, if you're having surgery and you're going to be in rehab for the summer, not a good time. Okay, your focus is going to be on something else. When you get into these programs, my program specifically, I can tell you, you're going to have to be spending in the beginning at least 2 hours a day on your business and more on the weekends, just setting up your infrastructure. Basically, by the 3rd or the 4th month, you're slowing down because you're getting more focus and you're getting momentum. But this is not like you're going to learn something and instantly have clients on a weekend. There is a lot of groundwork to do to get you ready to actually go out there and present your invitation to work with you. All right. But once that's set in place, you pretty much, like Leman was talking about, you just are working, just putting out content and generating leads every day, right? And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. And marketing hasn't changed basically, in 100 years. It's the repetition, it's the consistency. It's the, are you speaking to your clients? What's going on in their head? What's going on in their mind? Knowing what they're feeling. Okay. So I too will drop the link also to Build, Nurture, Convert program in the description above. And I just want to thank you so much for hopping on here, Leman. This was fantastic. And of course I didn't record it, but I did record it. I'll catch it on Facebook. So that's good because I want to save this for everyone for sure. Any last minute thoughts?
I just want to say thank you so much for all that you have done for me. And if you think that Dallas is the right coach for you, I highly recommend you to work with her because she knows her stuff. She knows how to put you out there so that you can start connecting with your clients and putting you into that position where you are ready to go in action. And it's where she knows exactly where your missing points are. She knows exactly what you need with her structure, with her business. And like she said, it's not just presenting it. So if you're saying, well, if Leman's got results, then I can get results. But like Dallas said, I was a sponge, she says. Because she said that I gave you what you need to do. You inhaled it all in and you put it out there. That's why
you got to be ready. You got to be ready. If you're not ready to dedicate yourself for the next year, you've got to be like, this is it. I'm sick and tired of being stuck and frustrated. I'm ready. I need Dallas. Let's get going here. That was who Leman was. She was a sponge. She grabbed it. She didn't resist it. She ran with it. And her business obviously exploded.
And if you're not ready, I can get you ready. And then you can start working with Dallas. So exactly. I'll get you ready. And then I'll say to you, here you go. Now you're ready to work with Dallas. So
Yeah, I've sent many people to Leman because they weren't ready and they were floundering. And if you're in that state, she's the perfect person to be with, or at least get on a call with and talk to. But if you are ready, I'm your gal. But if you're floundering, she's your gal. And that's how it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let's wrap this up. I will certainly talk to you soon. And thank you again for hopping on here with me and everyone who's on here. Yvonne, hi Yvonne, I see you're hopped on, and I hope you hop into the program and or check out Leman. And everyone else that's hopping onto the replay, know that the recordings for the workshop are going to be available through Tuesday, and then they have to come down. So you have a few more days to binge on them and make a decision if you want to work with me starting next week. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye, Leman.
Bye.